Hey everybody. I look at a lot of politics and I keep on seeing AOC everywhere. And you know, I'm smart enough to know and I've lived long enough to know that when you see Democrats keep on, pushing certain folks to the mainstream and having people when the mainstream media networks started, interviewing the same person all the time for all these events, there's an agenda that's happening. And one of the things I see is that they keep on pushing AOC everywhere. Like anytime she's somewhere, oh, let's have her, let's put a microphone in her face so, she can talk about what just happened. And it's almost like that type of thing. And with AOC, the question I have is, what has she accomplished? And again, I'm somebody that, I've seen her on YouTube and you see her everywhere, but what is she really accomplishing? Like, she'll talk about, oh, well, the millionaires and the rich folks and blah, blah, blah. But isn't she one of those folks she talks about now? Like, capitalism has done very well for her. So it's amazing that she can go up there and talk about capitalism and it's not good and all this other stuff when, now she's getting invited to the cocktail parties and going to red carpet events and making a lot of money and things like that. And so, for her to talk like, capitalism is so horrible and all these rich folks, and she, talks about, rich people and the millionaires and the billionaires when, I'm not sure, but I think she's doing pretty well herself, doing better than most people. So, it's just interesting how someone like AOC can always have something to say about businessmen and business owners, but she parties with those people too. Now, she isn't somebody living in poverty. She gets good benefits. She's doing pretty well financially. And in even this whole thing where they'll always talk about, white men and oppression and all this other stuff, isn't she in a relationship or married to a white man? And so, the more you do research on these people, a lot of stuff comes out. And it just goes to show you that folks, a lot of these voters, young voters, don't do research on some of these folks because they would say, well, wait a minute, you talk about all this oppression and white folks and racism, but then you're married, or she's married or in a relationship with a white man. Same thing with that other chick from Minnesota, Ilhan Omar, if I'm saying her name correctly. She's, I think, married to a white man too. But then we'll say, oh, well, white men are a part of the problem and violence and oppression and all this other stuff. And white men did this and white men did that. But both of them go home to white men. And so, again, it's really sad, but a lot of these folks are hypocrites. Some of these Democrats that, always come out with something to say are the biggest hypocrites. And they use their color as a shield. Well, I'm a person of color, so I know about this stuff. I know about racism and all this other stuff. But again, if you cared so much about the black community or you cared so much about the Hispanic community or being Puerto Rican or however you identify yourself, why didn't you sit up and marry a man from that community? Like, she could have married a Puerto Rican man. Ilhan Omar could have sat up and married a Somalian or something. Look at how they both chose to be with white men. And there's nothing wrong with that, but don't go out and say, well, white men are the reason why, oppression's happening, all this other stuff. Don't speak bad about white men when you go to, when you sit up and hold hands and go to the park and walk down the street with a white man, or you're in a relationship or married to one. And so, the hypocrisy is just amazing. And for a lot of these voters out here who are younger, they don't do their research. Because if they did their research, they would be like, why am I supporting a person who's totally opposite of what, they speak about? I think even Ilhan Omar, I think her net worth has increased too. These folks are so anti-capitalist, but it's just like they have no problems taking in, all that money on the back end from wherever they're getting money from. So there are two women, their net worths have increased. They're doing book deals, all sorts of stuff. They have no problem taking that money. How many times do you hear them say, you know what, I'm giving 100% of my earnings to a charity or something in the local area? You don't hear that. But they're quick to talk about all this oppression and quick to talk about capitalism and how bad the white man is. And so that's just my opinion. But again, let me know why the Democrats keep on, having AOC go on all these media channels. Like, why did the Democrats keep on letting her have so much attention? Like, why do they think this woman is going to be the future president or something? But for me personally, I don't trust AOC at all. I don't trust her at all. I think she's not authentic, and she, to get elected, played this whole, I'm from the Bronx, and I've seen a video from Benny Johnson where she's grown up in the suburbs. So when you start to research some of these Democrats, it's a totally different thing. You find out all sorts of stuff. And so again, in the comment section, let me know if you trust AOC. I don't, but just let me know how you feel about her. Thank you.